So guess what, everybody? The U.S. just recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Trump is also going to move the U.S. embassy there, which is really game, set, match on this issue. So what does that mean? Well, if the two-state solution was almost dead before, now it's just 100% dead. You know, it's beyond a pipe dream at this point. And for the longest time, when other progressives had already kind of abandoned the idea of the two-state solution, and they said, no, there needs to be one state with equal rights because that's the only thing at this point that's possible, I held on to the idea of the two-state solution for a longer time than many progressives. But now even I'm off it because it is just so obviously and clearly a lie to continue to perpetuate the status quo and have permanent occupation and apartheid. So it's dead. It's dead. It's 100% dead. This is the nail in the coffin. Now, under a two-state deal, what would have happened is Jerusalem would be split, with East Jerusalem being the capital of an independent Palestinian state. But now you have Trump saying Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and then people go as far as to say the undivided capital of Israel. Why would they say undivided? In other words, what they're saying is, it's ours, it's all ours. These Palestinians can go fuck themselves. And by the way, hashtag the resistance, Chuck Schumer totally agrees with Donald Trump on this. The top Democratic leaders are like, right on! I'd see that, again, I don't want to belabor this point, but I feel like I'm doing it because I'm responding to the people who are belaboring this point. But the reason why corporate Democrats don't shut the fuck up about Russia is because it's an issue that's easy, that allows them to not talk about any positive vision that they have. So Russia, oh my God, the president is basically a Manchurian candidate. He's a Putin puppet. He's a foreign agent. He's beholden to a hostile actor, foreign actor. They talk about that because they want to distract from the fact that they kind of agree with him and the Republicans on many issues. There were a few Democrats who crossed over to deregulate Wall Street just recently. We covered that story. If you agree on deregulating Wall Street, then where are you drawing the differences between you and the Republicans? Oh, I know, Russia. Trump's beholden to Russia or something. Anyway, I'm going to now vote with him on deregulating Wall Street. Trump, Russia. Oh, he just declared Jerusalem the capital of Israel. I totally agree with him on that one. Oh, Russia. Oh my God, isn't the Russia thing crazy? Trump just bombed Assad and the Syrian government, even though they're fighting ISIS. I agree with him on that one. So do you see the trick that's being played? Corporate Democrats, they're not talking about Medicare for all. They're not talking about free college. They're not talking about a living wage. They're not talking about ending the wars. They're not talking about ending the drug war. They're not giving you a positive vision as to what they want to do for the country. They're saying Russia, and then secretly agreeing with Trump on incredibly toxic and odious parts of his agenda. But I know, I'm the crazy one, and I'm the one that's, I'm the one that's somehow wrapped up in hysteria. It seems to me like the opposite is true. And by the way, I support what Mueller's doing in that he's using this issue as a gateway to take down Trump administration officials for corruption and financial crimes. I'm 100% on board with that. But what I'm talking about is democratic messaging. There's a reason why they're only talking about Russia. Because it's easy and it's safe, and it means they don't have to talk about all the other issues to improve your life because they don't really believe in fighting on those issues. They kind of agree with the Republicans a sad percentage of the time. So hashtag the resistance is totally with them on this. So this is a slap in the face to all Palestinians, and it exposes the peace process for the farce that it is. And listen, it's illegal under international law. is what it is. What they're doing is totally illegal. The UN says, no, that's not the case. They go, we don't care. Only the U.S. can call like a press conference and just casually announce that, yeah, international law, we disagree. The fuck? That's not a thing you could just be like, yeah, no. That's not on the table. The whole idea of the law justice is supposed to be blind. Equal protection under the law. It's supposed to apply to everybody equally. But the U.S., Trump called a press conference to say, yeah, international law, schminternational law, we disagree. And then, of course, what's going to happen now? There is definitely going to be a violent backlash because now it's proven that diplomacy hasn't worked. That is proven. This is the trick that's been played on the Palestinians all these years. Hey, come on, why don't you just negotiate directly with Israel and then you'll be able to get your, the answer you want and the outcome you want that's good for everybody. So then they go and do that. And Netanyahu and the Israeli government go, no, we disagree with every single one of the things that you want. There is no middle ground here, and we're not going to do any of the things that you propose. And then Palestinians go, okay, well, I guess I'll go to the international community. Then when they go to the international community, Israel turns around and goes, oh, how dare you go behind our back to the international community? Why don't you do direct negotiations with us? Dude, we just talked with you and you said no. Then they go to the international community. The U.S. and Israel block any attempt to really fix this problem. And then every now and then there will be a bubble up of violence that comes to the surface. There will be a disproportionate reaction from the Israeli government that massacres civilians and children, like what happened in Gaza in 2014. I think it was 80% or more civilians who were killed. Israel bombed hospitals. They bombed the only power plant in Gaza. They bombed schools. So when there's violence, it's met with disproportionate violence. And of course, people go, hey, that's immoral. Don't use violence. Then when they try to go to direct negotiations, Israel goes, no, we're not going to agree to anything you say. Then they go to the international community, Israel and the U.S. block it, and round and round and round we go. And then now they're saying, oh, now we're just going to declare that a key portion of what would be part of the peace negotiations, where there would obviously have to be a deal over Jerusalem where you'd split it up. No, we're declaring that that's our, quote, undivided capital. And then again, when there's a violent backlash, they're going to go, oh my goodness, who could have seen this coming? Fucking everybody with the brain. Because it turns out when you walk into somebody's house and you say, this is mine now, get the fuck out. Turns out they get mad. They get mad and they say, I'm going to let you steal everything I know that's mine. And then what? I'm just going to walk away into the sunset? No, there's going to be a violent backlash because they're going to say, you're taking what is ours. So it's unbelievable that we just announced it so casually. Like, yeah, no, and Trump had the nerve, and this is the most disgusting part of it all, in my opinion. And, Israel's going to do the same line here. They go, we're announcing that Jerusalem is the undivided capital of Israel. But understand that this is not in any way an attempt to undermine the peace process. This is an attempt to get a fair deal for both Israel and Palestine. Are you kidding me? There's something that's even more insidious about somebody who is your enemy but pretends to be your friend. That's even more insidious than somebody who's just like, I'm against you and I'm going to let you know up front. And that's what the U.S. is doing here, and that's what Israel's doing here. As they spit in the eye of all Palestinians, they jack their territory. This is illegal under international law. This legitimizes about 200,000 illegal settlements in occupied East Jerusalem. So they steal your shit, and then they go, what? No, this isn't in any way me trying to, do something that's not fair on your behalf. I want a fair deal for everybody. It's so fucking weaselly and slimy, and the rest of the world goes, that's some bullshit. Every other country is like, can you stop with this nonsense? But now we're in a position where, what do you do? What do you do in this situation? I mean, honestly, the only hope is the EU basically saying, okay, we're not going to stand for this anymore, and now we're going to do an official boycott. We're not interested in products coming out of Israel, definitely products coming out of, the occupied territories. We're going to do an official boycott. Basically, all of the EU hopping on board with BDS would be, I don't know, the only way to put a sufficient amount of international pressure where eventually you get some sort of solution. And at this point, I don't know what the solution would be outside of a one-state solution. For the longest time, I supported a two-state solution because Palestinians seem to indicate if the options are, nothing or having an independent Palestine along the 67 borders, they'll take the independent Palestine along the 67 borders. But at this point, they're just saying that's not happening ever. So you need a one-state deal with equal rights for Palestinians to stop permanent apartheid. But then in that situation, you're still dealing with, 100 years or more of insane, oppression and unequal treatment. And so it's not going to be easy. It's almost like a desegregating the South kind of thing. So what do? I don't know. The EUs would have to apply pressure. And even then, the terms of such a deal are difficult to wrap your mind around and fathom because we all knew the terms of what a deal would be if it was a two-state deal. Roughly along the 1967 borders, split up Jerusalem. But now it's like we're right back to square one and they got to figure something out. And it's all on the EU to do it because the U.S. is just going to 100% back Israel no matter what. It did under Obama. Now it's doing it at least under Obama, there was the symbolic, like these illegal settlements are not okay. It was a non-binding resolution. It was just totally symbolic. But now, the Trump administration's like, yeah, we don't care. We don't care. Whatever Israel wants, whatever Netanyahu and the far right wants. So EU, step up. Sign on to BDS. That's all I could think of, really, that could even begin to unravel and try to fix this situation. And even then, it's a pain in the ass, and who knows how it'll get resolved. But just so you know, who is Trump serving here with this decision? Well, to answer that question, let me show you a clip of one of the people who's most excited by this.
Greetings to all of our partners in John Hagee Ministries and Christians United for Israel across America. Today is an historic day. Today, President Donald Trump has recognized the city of Jerusalem as the capital of the state of Israel. This has never been done before by a U.S. president. President Trump told me when last we spoke regarding the embassy that he would not disappoint us, speaking of the evangelical community, and today he has kept that promise. President Trump has made a bold and courageous stand that will be remembered in history forever. Like President Harry Truman, who made a bold and courageous decision to recognize Israel at statehood, President Trump has stepped into political immortality. What he has done today will be eternally celebrated. This shows the world that Jerusalem as the capital of Israel is not up for negotiation, and America is and shall always remain a loyal ally of Israel. I encourage every person to express your support to the President for keeping his promise and for standing with Israel, America's only friend in the Middle East. God bless each and every one of you.
He said Donald Trump stepped into political immortality by doing this. That's John Hagee. He's a fundamentalist evangelical in the United States. He wrote a book where he said 2014 is the beginning of the apocalypse because of the blood moons. He wrote a book saying end times is going to start in 2014, this guy. He literally believes Jesus will come back and, massacre Jews in Israel and usher in end times. By the way, under biblical prophecy, that land has to all be Israel. So that's why he supports this. That's why he supports, ethnically cleansed Palestinians, kick them off their own land. We don't care about them. Because according to the Bible, that land is all Israel's, and then that allows Jesus to come back and usher in end times. So these are the people, the evangelical, fundamentalist, far-right, Bible literalists who have been pushing Trump all along. Hey, this is what you have to do about Israel. Don't worry about the Palestinians. You got to be a good friend of Israel. How do you be a good friend of Israel? Well, you got to say, hey, Jerusalem is the undivided capital of Israel. Don't look the other way when Netanyahu goes on his fucking purging campaigns and bombs women and children. So this is religious lunatics saying we need to fulfill Bible prophecy, so give it all to Israel. By the way, the far right in Israel is ecstatic over this. Ultra-Orthodox, fundamentalist Jews are ecstatic over this. There's a group in Israel that called for Obama to be assassinated in the street in 2015 that did a press statement the other day, and they were like, we love what Donald Trump is doing here. This is a great thing that Donald Trump is doing. So this is Donald Trump caving to extreme ultra-fundamentalists with Christians and Jews and trying to fulfill biblical prophecy and letting them do whatever they want because that's his base. That's his base right there. So this is who's happy about this. And again, now you're going to take a region that's already a volatile region, that's already on fire. I mean, look at what's happening in Syria. And you're going to virtually guarantee more fighting, new fighting, bubbling up of tensions, 100%. Because it turns out when you steal somebody's shit, they get kind of mad. So, couldn't have done anything worse than this. This is as bad as it gets on that issue. And, I guess the only thing that some people would consider an upside is that, okay, well, at least now we're done pretending the two-state solution is a thing. And this was my awakening on that, too. My argument had always been, hey, listen, if a two-state solution is a pipe dream, I can only think of one thing that's a bigger pipe dream, which is a one-state solution. But now what they're saying is it's not ambiguous. They're even under an administration that's tough on Israel in the U.S., which, laugh along with me, you're never going to roll back all these advancements. I mean, all the land that Israel's on post-1967 is illegal under international law. But now you're talking about, recognition of the 200,000 or more settlers who are who are illegally occupying in East Jerusalem. So it's so far gone now that, well, some people would say, hey, at least we're done with that, delusion, and we could all agree it's a one-state solution with equal rights, and it's a matter of fighting for and implementing that. But make no mistake about it, this is a giant mistake. It's to appease the far-right fundamentalists, and it's illegal, and it will lead to violence.